Hey, what's happening, everybody? We're back again.
Welcome to the 7th week now.
Has it been 7 weeks already?
It doesn't seem like it.
Seems like
time flies
we
by.
just started.
It really does seem like we just started like hours ago.
We were different people then, and most of us in different attire.
Tonight we have a really serious thing we want to talk to you about, and that is some people out there really can't afford to buy a new wrestling shirt. And
so please give. So
please
that Doug can
stream.
get another.
I really need a new Real Osprey shirt, so please.
Today,
please stream us.
Of course, as we all three know, is September 17th. And that means we're here to talk Walk of Fame.
I love September 17th. It's just been a great day.
It has been a fantastic day.
The weather has been the weather. And,
the weather, yes. It has been weathered outside.
Did you see it outside?
It weathered.
It was something else.
All the weather.
All the weather.
Walk of Fame.
Go Jane.
Or as
Mary
it
Beth.
is commonly
Mary Beth calls
known
it Go
as
Jane.
Go Jane.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Walk of Fame is
about football.
It ended up being about football. So Walk of Fame is lyrically the oldest song that Storytellers Union has. I looked in.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's not really Ground Zero is really the first song that we worked on, but as far as my lyrics go, this was written in 1995.
Wow.
I wasn't even born yet.
I was 23 years old when I wrote this song, which is insane when I think about, how long this song had been kicking around. So by far, this is the oldest song lyrically. In fact, it's been so long that this has been in our orbit that there's probably, I can't even tell you how many different versions of this song through the years we've done. It's never really changed a whole lot.
It's 3 chords.
But we've been recording it for 15 years.
Yeah.
15, 20 years. There was, in fact, I know we referenced it on an earlier version of Union Stories that we had was it Reverb Nation?
Yes.
Yes, a
Reverb
Nation page. So
we don't have anymore.
Yeah.
We had a version of Walk of Fame that at a time was considered done.
That is true.
I don't know that we posted it or not.
Okay.
So, in fact, it was so, in my mind, complete that I think I grew dissatisfied with the attempts to try to improve on that version. So that version of the song ended with the outro that was kind of what we wanted was sort of a party vibe. So we wanted it to seem like a drunken sing-along at a bar or something like that.
Yeah.
So what we did was we brought everybody into one room without, really, no one was specifically mic'd. Even the non-singers like Doug sang.
Mary
We brought in Doug's wife, Mary Beth, and we all, without practicing it, because again, we didn't want it to sound perfect. We wanted it to sound like a drunken sing-along. Played it that way, and then kind of improvised our parts without knowing what everybody else was going to do. And the result was this great party-sounding ending that was very loose.
Doug cracked up at the end, and
ended up in this great peal of laughter that sounded so spontaneous that, guess what, folks? When you try to craft spontaneity,
that doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
It doesn't. You can't get that back.
So I actually know people who are familiar with that version talk about how much they missed the laugh and the ending. But when we did try to recreate it, it definitely killed the spontaneity of what we had with that original.
Doug's so serious now.
He never laughs anymore.
Right.
All the joy
because
is
I'm sad
gone.
because I don't have a Will Ospreay shirt.
That's what it is.
Please give.
So please stream us.
Please stream us.
Just stream us.
Hopefully you have streamed Walk of Fame. We posted it last night, and it's also available on all of the streaming services that you love to frequent. It's out there, so listen to Walk of Fame and get Doug that shirt. But the version you're hearing is not the version that I mentioned that we had from years ago. But for the longest time, I actually felt a disconnect with this song. I never felt like we were, when we were trying to record it for It's About Time. Because, again, this song dates back so far, it could have been on the first album. But again, we weren't getting it right, and so we put it off. We thought we'll wait and go down the road with it. I think part of what was disconnecting for me is I never felt like we were improving on that early version. Sometimes I get in my head like this is the way it's supposed to be, and any attempts to do something different distracts me.
Because my question was going to be, what was there about this song? Sorry, the camera made a noise. It freaked me out. What was it about this song that we didn't like? But you saying that, I know what the problem was now, because I'm thinking, how hard was it to nail down a 3-chord? Well, basically a 3-chord in a true song. But you're right, it shouldn't be. But I know you didn't like the versions after that first one. I didn't like the first one because it was so loose. You go back and watch some of our other stuff, you'll listen to me talk about how I play very much locked into a grid and want it to sound a certain way. It didn't sound the way I thought it should sound. It was too loose for me.
And me, I felt like we weren't capturing the same energy.
Right.
But you also, you were kind of like dissatisfied with some lyrics from the old lyrics and things like that.
So the original lyrics were written in 1995. I was just 23 years old. It is lyrically a pretty straightforward story. About these various teenagers who come up together through school, and then there's this one, Jane, the title character, who got out. And if you come from a small town, you recognize, I hope, that it's a universal theme, that love-hate relationship. You make your best friends that you probably are going to have in your life there. You also have this,
Who are they?
this. I'll introduce you sometime. This impending doom feeling sometimes in a small town that you're not going to get anywhere there, and that if you are, you have to get out. So in my mind, this story was the one person that got out, and everyone's reaction to her and how they felt about it. I'm sure there was jealousy on some part. There were some that took pride in the local girl made good. I never really get specific about what it is that Jane did that made her so famous, but the idea is that you hear about everybody else but Jane. She is the chorus of she's the person that got out. The stories you hear are actually the folks that didn't get out. And not that there's anything wrong with staying in your hometown or anything like that either. Some people were fine, some were dissatisfied. But I think for me, there were certain sets of the lyrics in the original that I wrote in 95 when I was only 23. It goes from the first couple of verses that were focused on these teenagers, and the last verse shifted to a first person, this kid talking about his parents. My father sits there with the most resentment of anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I think, looking back, that was my dissatisfaction. The grammarian in me had a real problem with my 23-year-old self that was switching from third-person narrative to first-person narrative, and it bothered me tremendously, which I know is a geeky way. Yes.
I'm sorry. You say grammarian. I think Gamorrean from Star Wars, like the big giant pig things.
Well, of course you do.
that are guards in Jabba's palace, but there's no Gamorrean in there.
No.
So grammarian.
It's not just a. We're back to aliens again.
I will always bring it back to wizards, spaceships, wrestling, or rock and roll. I'll always bring it back to one of those 4 things.
Well,
and you just drove me there hard
by saying the word grammarian,
which made me think of Gamora.
I like to think that Jane was that one person who was really successful at multi-level marketing. She was the one that made it work. She was really successful at it.
As far as making it work,
she sold Tupperware.
When I changed,
she did it online because nobody's really seen her. Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
No, people have seen her. Have you seen her?
Jane?
Have you heard about what she's been doing?
Have you seen her? No, I haven't seen her because
Have
she's
checked her out. Yeah.
Who knows? Jane may be dead. Somebody could be using her name on this online Tupperware.
Jane's not dead.
She's selling Tupperware online. That's what Jane is.
What do you think? What do you think? Comment below.
Comment, absolutely.
What do you think Jane is doing? What amazing thing did Jane do?
Oh, that's great. What do you think Jane did?
Comment.
I like that.
I'm going to have to think about that and comment myself because I never resolved that part of the song because I did want the song to be about the other people and Jane was just the vehicle to get us to the other people's stories.
My belief is
that's where
successful multi-level marketing.
That is where the story broke down for me and why I was dissatisfied. because not only because we went first person, third person shift, but I also thought I had a problem with the fact that I had gone from the story of these teenagers, and then in the last verse, I'm suddenly talking about their parents. So I wanted to go back to the teenagers. And so when I rewrote the last verse, which that happened, let's see, it was 2013.
Yeah.
So 95 is when it was originally written, and then the last verse was 2013. And that is a little bit of a joke.
We were older and wiser.
Because if you saw the documentary, and I'm sure you did, streaming on YouTube and our Facebook, but we teased Doug about not knowing the names of our songs, and then as you saw, he said that he used to always joke back that all of our songs about football.
Where did that come from, though? I thought it came from this song, but
No, that's why this verse is the joke, because he always thought they were about football. I'm like, all right, we're going to make this verse about football.
Friday night, yeah.
Friday Night Football.
And it actually would fit because it took the story back to high school. Honestly, in our town, it was really more basketball was the religion. But every small town, it is one of those two sports that is probably the religion of that small
Friday
town.
Night Football, yeah.
And so by actually, a little in joke on Doug, by actually writing a song about football, changing that last verse to a song about those teenagers, it took it back to the kids.
So
and
where did you get
worked.
football from to begin with?
They're all about football. What are you talking about? It's clear by listening to his lyrics.
You know where he got it from?
It was a joke on his part.
It was just a joke. It wasn't
The fact that he
something
doesn't know what the
'cause-
songs are about, he just presumes they're about football.
I don't know what our songs are about. I don't know what our songs are called.
Ew.
I can't play our songs.
Bad.
He should really watch Union stories, and he'll
He
learn
really
more.
should.
Actually, he's learning so much through these. He never ever
These are
knew
very
before
educational.
about his songs. But yeah, that's the straight ahead story of the song. It was about these kids. I wrote it when I was a kid, 23, and I finished it when I was in my mid 40s. And these guys helped bring it to life. I thought that we had a definitive version years ago. And then ended up dissatisfied with it, and now think that this is definitely the definitive version. And part of that I will give credit to Jerry over here, because the backing vocals that she did that made the new ending that replaced the one that I couldn't get my mind off of. I think she did some like "Give Me Shelter" level stuff there. I mean, there's just She is belting it out at the end in a way that really brings the end of that song to life in a really big way, because, like Doug noted, it's a 3-chord song, and then the ending is a repeat of the chorus a lot. But the fact that she's able to keep that interesting by all the stuff that she's doing at the end, that is what nails the song at the end to me.
Oh, that's kind of you to say. I'll throw that back to Doug, because the setup that we have in the basement that enabled me to go down one night while I was here by myself and just experiment on things that I wouldn't have done if you guys were waiting for me to lay down my backing vocals. I was just doing my, normal, backing vocals that I'd been doing for years. Has anyone seen Jane? And, and just backing you basically. And then our setup in the basement, like, I was here by myself and just decided, all right, let's try this, and let's just try belting things out, because you can just play around if nobody's there waiting on you, watching you, judging you, or whatever. And it's funny because in the documentary there's a clip of a video where I'm doing the backing vocals. Oh gosh,
Can't think.
Was it can't? No, I can't think. Anyway, and you can tell that because we're in your basement.
Oh, the one in the base. Oh,
and
yeah.
you can tell I'm like
Accident.
It was accident. Yeah, because I'm going no, like Mary Beth and Nelliam are asleep upstairs, and I'm trying to be really quiet, But you have that opportunity set up downstairs, and the multi-tracks and stuff like that, and it's just like, all right, we got 8 tracks or something here now to play with that you weren't on, and let's just
and Doug's production too. Like it's a lot bigger of a song than it ever was in any of its prior incarnations.
I get a little ridiculous.
It just rocked harder than the other ones, which maybe that was another thing that made me dissatisfied for all those intervening years. When I say lack of energy, I just felt like it was the same thing for such a long story.
Yeah, absolutely. I
That
get
it maybe didn't get as interesting as it should. But then
I think that's why I was hung up on it for a long time too. I mean, that spontaneity that's there in the first one, the sound quality isn't the greatest, but that's probably one of the better performance captures.
yeah.
But I mean, I get hung up a lot on how things. I think things should sound for us, and well, you guys have met me. I'm never satisfied with our stuff, but
That's why we have to tell them when something's done. But
So
this one was done, and then when we finally got it right, when I rewrote those verses, when you put the ending on, when you beefed up the production to make it more of a rock song and less of a folk number, it was kind of mid-tempo before, and it's builds now in a way that we decided to do a video and call it a single, and have had a few people even name it their favorite song, which we
Diana,
really
if she's watching,
That's
she
right.
always
This
tells
is-
me. But pardon me. And I think that can't be underestimated. It's like the progression of, doing an album, putting stuff out there, and being, okay, we're putting this out into the world. No, we've said this before, but the fact that you guys watch, you guys listen, and give us feedback, positive feedback, it just continues to build, because we're like, okay, it's some affirmation that, that worked, or that was good. And, it's, and it builds the confidence level for the next time. All right, well, if everybody liked that, or people gave me good feedback on that, then I could try that again, or
And the people
maybe
that-
I could try this too.
that
and
shared
it's fun.
this video, and then what they would say about it when they shared it gave us insight too. The way that they talked about the songs, like little mini reviews, which for a band like us who are hobbyists,
Right.
you don't get reviewed, but that's the closest we get to reviews and feedback as to what we're doing. So we always appreciate hearing what
Absolutely.
your favorite songs
Yeah.
are, what you like about them, what you don't. And to hear the feedback on a song that I wrote when I didn't know much of anything about the real world, and somebody say that, oh, this reflects small town life, and everybody knows this story, that meant the world, and made us feel like we did something
Lyrically,
that was good.
it really is a great song, though. I've always liked this song. It's always been a really insightful song for a 20-something to.
I think that's it.
Right.
When I look back at my old lyrics, I don't always relate to that guy who wrote them, and sometimes the old lyrics are ones I think I need to update or fix, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I need to just let that 23-year-old be himself. Although in this case, it helped to write the one verse about the high school sweethearts that got married too young, and then the former football star that has the faded glory. Because again, that kind of took it back to the kids and to people that we all know and remember from our high school days. And hopefully you were able to relate to the song too, and appreciate you listening to us
Absolutely.
talk about it now. And tune in next week, and we go on to track it. We're past the halfway mark now, aren't we?
Ooh.
So we'll move on to the next track next Tuesday night, right here at 8:00.
don't forget to comment down below about what you think Jane's
What do you
doing.
think
Yeah.
Jane is
I
doing?
really,
We all want to know.
we need to know
We
now.
know. want to know.
Successful multi-level marketer.
Online Tupperware.
Whatever you decide.
Thanks.